Alright, babe. Give me a real reaction. Which one of these two you want me to work on? Hurry up. Which one?
I mean,
Which one? Initial reaction.
initial reaction.
And-
What the fuck is going on in that one? That's my initial reaction.
Which one? I can't
that
see the
one's
point.
pretty.
Which one?
This one's like pretty.
Okay.
But that one is like, what the fuck is going on? Because is that like, is she sitting on a ball? Like, is that a yoga ball where you go bouncy, bouncy, bouncy?
It's from Near Automata, but which one? Just which one? Which one? Pick one.
This one's easier on the eyes to see.
That one's easier on the eyes to
catchier.
see?
It's catchier. That is like, it's busy.
It's busy?
Yeah.
So that's the winner?
Yeah.
Okay. Easy peasy. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to a special video. I want to talk about Gooner games. You hear that term thrown around a lot these days without much real context, so I want to go over it and the problem that these games present. So, here's the issue. There isn't one. That's it. That's the video. There is no problem with Gooner games or games with sexy characters. This is going to be a rant video, so you've been warned. In order to understand what a Gooner game is, though, we need to understand the definition of what Gooner actually means. A Gooner, according to Urban Dictionary, is someone who is addicted to or obsessively engages in long-term duration pornography consumption and masturbation. So, why is that term being applied to gamers for the games they play? Well, some people, mostly activists posing as game journalists, think anything with an attractive female is nothing more than porn. Yep, games like Stellar Blade, Nier Automata, First Descendant, which is what I'm drawing here, are nothing but baseless porn that, according to IGN France, was made by people that have, quote-unquote, never seen a real woman before. By the way, here's the game director's wife for Stellar Blade. A real woman. And here's a picture of some real women that make fairly accurate game costumes, as well as adult content. Here's the funny part. The same people that say sex work is real work will support OnlyFans models for sexualizing themselves, which I have no problem with, but turn around and complain when a fictional character that doesn't exist is sexualized. Am I the only one that thinks it's absurd to get offended over a fucking cartoon? And you never see them go after actual porn games on Steam, but they'll relegate their commentary to a game with a girl in a bikini running around with a sword. Pretty strange. Oh, and if my drawing of Eve, Tubi, and Bunny offends you, I'm going to quote something they love to say all the time. Go cry about it and touch some fucking grass. Funny part is, I probably go outdoors more than those people do. Anyway, this all stems from the tired view of sexy character outrage that doesn't meet their representation standards. It seems like every year something comes out for the whack jobs to bitch about. The latest to get the my steak is too juicy and my lobster is too buttery bullshit is the reveal of Lords of the Fallen 2 female armor designs. Now, CI Games, the developer, is not quite being attacked like how Shift Up was when Stellar Blade came out, but they're being mocked by progressives because they're not bowing down to modern political correctness. Like, Polygon has this bullshit article about how it's a desperate plea for relevance. Oh, kind of like how Polygon is attacking them in a desperate plea for engagement? But you know what? Good for CI Games, really. Don't bow down or apologize to these assholes. For context, because context is important, here's where I'm coming from. When it comes to playing video games, there's really only one thing I essentially care about. And that is a long drawn-out narrative where I spend more time watching carefully crafted cutscenes that represent the world around me than actually playing the game part of a video game. I'm just kidding. If you want to do that, go play fucking Mixtape. Now, while I do enjoy a good story, not Mixtape, what matters most for me anyway is it fun? Now, I know that's a pretty broad term and fun is subjective. What's fun for one person might not be for someone else. Personally, I love first-person shooters, beat-em-ups, action RPGs, hack and slash, racing, and platformers. I like everything from R-Type and Gradius, when was the last time you heard those games mentioned, to Halo and Doom, to Burnout and Wipeout, to Castlevania, Dark Souls, the old God of War games, Devil May Cry, and Ninja Gaiden. Seriously, Ninja Gaiden 4 is the shit. And lighthearted games too, like Astrobot, Crash Bandicoot, Little Big Planet, Spyro the Dragon. But I digress. While people like me generally mind our own business to engage in things we enjoy, there's a subset of people that really just want to piss in everyone else's cereal. Thankfully, it seems to be more of a smaller but very vocal minority. Strap in, because I got some shit to get off my chest if I didn't already. This isn't going to be one of those safe opinion videos where I skirt a topic to not upset anyone. No, fuck that. I'm not parroting anyone else either. All of my views are based on reactions I've gotten for my own art and stuff I've seen for other people's art online. People seem to have no issue when I draw something nasty, bloody, and gruesome, but draw a woman in a revealing outfit and holy fucking shit, you'd think I killed their dog. After a while, it gets tiresome and I'm gonna fire back. Because honestly, I'm not gonna stop doing sexy pinups or erotic art, just like I'm not gonna stop doing dark fantasy, horror, and extreme gore. Like this guy, apparently an industry vet that got mad because I posted a commissioned piece of fan art in an art group. Does her back look a little messed up? It's a little exaggerated, but getting a reaction like this doesn't exactly scream professional even if you didn't like my art. It just shows how much of an asshole you are. Never mind that it's what the client wanted, and I tried to make the pose work best I could considering the X-rated version has a monster behind her doing stuff, I'll just say. If you know anything about Rule 34 artists, we draw several versions of one picture. You know, for the Gooners out there. It doesn't mean I don't know anatomy. It means I wanted to get paid. Most of the reactions were positive, but some people just love being complete pricks online. And if you want to see the uncensored version, check out my Newgrounds or Patreon in the description. If something offends you, that's a you problem. Everyone is offended by something, and it's not the creator's responsibility to police themselves. It's up to you how you handle your own emotions. Also, if you agree with me or shit, have experienced what I'm going to talk about yourself, let me know. So how did we get to the point where some sexy content is okay, but some isn't? Bear with me, because it's going to take some explaining. Now, while I do always try to look at something from every angle, notice I didn't say sides. Sides implies that things are only black and white. No, all issues, no matter how important or honestly trivial, kind of like gaming, has more than two sides. But for those that absolutely need their content creators to pick a side, I'll tell you right now, I don't side with the name-calling crowd that finds offense in every little fucking thing and uses it to attack anyone that disagrees with them. Luckily, it turns out those people are a seemingly small, vocal minority that lives chronically online. I haven't seen them much out in the wild, and those that I do run into aren't really all that bad. You really can talk to most people in real life. I think I've only met a few that left me wondering if they had a single thought that was their own, but otherwise, I don't see them too much. And despite my grandstanding, I actually do get along with and accept all kinds of people. My issue is when someone tries to censor me or other creators, which brings me to the culture war which chose Hollywood and gaming to be its battleground. Let me just take a second to acknowledge how fucking ridiculous it is that a fringe social issue we've become divided on has been co-opted into fucking movies and video games. There's people dying in other countries over the right to live their own lives, and we here in the States are fighting over the content of our entertainment. That is fucking absurd. See, the problem is some of these people from this vocal minority made their way into a hobby they never had any interest in the first place. Or if they did, they certainly didn't respect the fan base that came with it, and, as evidenced by nearly every fucking comment, post, and interview online, wanted to hijack it and change it to suit them. Just look at Star Wars for the most glaring example. I could do a whole video on that alone, but the online discourse over how Disney handled the franchise is almost as bad as people fighting over sports and politics. It's fucking insane. A similar thing happened to Warhammer, the Marvel Universe, hell, comic books in general, and every major Western gaming studio. It's been taken over by tourists. Yes, I said tourists. Look at Marvel writer Gail Simone. She completely retconned Red Sonja's origin because she thought it was too disgusting, brutal, and sexually explicit. Yeah, she was assaulted and left for dead because it was a reflection of how disgusting and brutal the world of Hyboria from Conan the Barbarian is. Now, it's some safe by the numbers PG-13 Mary Sue bullshit with zero character growth. People are tired of their franchises getting hijacked. If you disagree, just look at the box office numbers for movies like Top Gun Maverick and Mortal Kombat 2, which were made by people passionate about the source material versus franchises that Disney bought up like Star Wars and Marvel. Whether you like where those franchises went is subjective. I like a few early Marvel movies from the MCU, so I'm not just here to talk shit completely. What I'm talking about is the stuff that strayed so far off the source material that it's not even recognizable anymore. What isn't subjective is how they were mishandled, as evidenced by the extreme margin between critic and user reviews. If you like modern writing, you're apparently a tourist. If you don't like it, you're a toxic grifting hater. You just can't win either fucking way. Or look at game sales for games like Stellar Blade and Crimson Desert, which were made by people that emphasized cool aesthetics and gameplay, versus games like Dragon Age Veilguard, which was a lecture with bad writing. And I did play about 5 hours of it when it was free on PSN, and I want those fucking 5 hours back. Or Concord, which had some of the most boring, uninspired character designs and gameplay I'd ever seen. If there was an audience for those games, they sure as fuck didn't buy them. Turns out, there's not as much of an audience as they thought. The cultural divide has taken center stage as opposed to the actual content of what you're consuming. Think about that for a minute. These people have taken it upon themselves to act as sort of a morality police. People like Anita Sarkeesian, Zoe Quinn, the worst offender, Alyssa Mercante, all the Gen Z Puritans that follow sites like IGN, Polygon, Kotaku, GameRant, GamesRadar, PC Games N. In an industry that used to applaud creativity and diversity in gaming, we've been overrun with activists that care more about if a game's content offends them rather than if it's engaging, which saw the rise of the term Gooner to be used as a backhanded insult aimed at anyone, mostly men, that enjoy video games with sexy female characters. But don't worry, female Gooners have been on the rise too. So let's get into the hypocrisy and utter nonsense that is this trend of condescending attacks on anyone that enjoys a game with a character that caters to the male gaze. Oh no, the dreaded fucking male gaze. Another stupid fucking backhanded bullshit ass term. Here's the thing though. Nothing that I'm saying is new. Men have been consuming material with sexualized females and stoic male heroes since the fucking Greeks. Women have been consuming literary erotica since words were put onto paper. It's almost like men and women have different things that activate the neurons in their brains when it comes to mental stimulation. But I'm not here to criticize erotic high fantasy romance novels that women consume as a form of mental masturbation, because that'd be too easy. I'm going to take a step back and look at the context, not the content. Now, I could say all romance novels are just Gooner books that give an unrealistic representation of men and creates a social stigma that perpetuates the female gaze. Although, when I met my wife, she said I fit the female gaze. Shit. Yeah, 3 hours every day at the gym and rage-filled depression will do that. I can easily turn the tables, but I won't. Why? Because I haven't read every fucking romance novel. Some, like all things, are very well written and have complex plots and characters, and some are complete trash. So no, I'm not going to blanket the entire romance novel industry as femcel Gooner bait based on the worst of said industry. So, why do these asshole activists do that with gaming? Let's break it down. I'll use the games based on the characters I'm drawing, Stellar Blade, Nier Automata, and First Descendant. They've been, to some extent, accused as being nothing more than pornographic Gooner bait with no redeeming qualities. I highly doubt their strongest critics played any of those. Let's start with everyone's favorite game to bitch about, Stellar Blade, my personal Game of the Year 2024. Is it a Gooner game? Well, in order to find out, I have to examine if it would still be just as fun if Eve wasn't the main character. What if we played as Adam instead? Well, the combat is surprisingly deep, character movement flows beautifully, the enemy design has lots of variety, the game runs silky smooth, the graphics are great, the story is a bit lacking, but the environments are fun to explore and the soundtrack is honestly catchy as fuck. Yeah. If this game had a male lead or some blue-skinned alien robot, it'd still be fun. I'd still play it. Just because the player has access to skimpy outfits doesn't automatically mean the game is less worthy of praise for the sum of its better parts. Stellar Blade, by industry standards, is a great game. It's honestly the best game that came out, like I said, in 2024, aside from Space Marine 2. So, nope, sorry, it's not a Gooner game, just because it has optional lingerie and bikini outfits. Now let's look at Nier Automata. It was what inspired Stellar Blade, only this game has multiple endings. Stellar Blade had 3, and this one has way more gameplay variety. It's a hack and slash, a side-scroller, a shoot-'em-up, a hacking game. There is a ton of gameplay options. It changes up so much that it never begins to feel repetitive or boring. The game world, while simple by most conventional standards, has a built-in history you rarely see and is genuinely fun to explore. Seeing how the machines rebuilt society based on what they thought human civilization was like is an interesting touch and brings a level of charm you don't often find. You also get different perspectives across 3 characters, 2B, 9S, and A2. Unlike Stellar Blade, there isn't much in the way of skimpy outfits except for a few DLC items. Still, it's not a Gooner game just because you can self-destruct to see the main character's shiny wet ass. Oh no, you can see 2B's butt, I better rage about it online. It, by industry standards, is a great game. Nier Automata is easily one of the best games to come out in the past 10 years. Now let's go to First Descendant. It's an online PvE shooter with tons of sexy women and muscular men. It's pretty basic, you shoot stuff and collect loot. It's Warframe, but with bikinis and lingerie. I call it Warframe. Where it's lacking in giant space battles, it makes up for with giant boss fights called Colossi. For a lot of people, it could get boring pretty fast, but it has had a decent drip of new content, which the latest update just came out a couple days ago. Is it the best free online shooter ever? No, I still think that goes to Warframe, but the gunplay and powers are fun to use, and characters do feel different enough depending on your build. It's not groundbreaking, but it's fun, and that's all that matters. So, is it a Gooner game? I'll say maybe, but this applies to both sides. See, while you have access to skimpy outfits for the girls, you also have access to revealing outfits for the guys. So, if you're going to say it's a Gooner game for guys to get off to, that same rule applies to the ladies. Check your double standard when it comes to calling things out. Now, I'm going to look at a game known for its negative attention. Oh, fuck me. Code Violet. Yes, I bought it. Yes, I played it. Was it fun? Sort of. Would it still be a good game if the main character wasn't a sexy brunette in a skin-tight suit or lingerie shooting dinosaurs? No. No, it would not. The shooting mechanic is clunky, the puzzles are horribly designed, and the animations are kinda silly and laughably bad. Code Violet is, by definition, Gooner trash, but not just because they're sexy outfits. It's just not a good game, and the sexy outfits were the main draw for the game. It certainly wasn't the gameplay. Funny enough, the devs pushed back hard against putting it on PC because they didn't want people making nude mods for it. Yeah, sorry, but worrying about nude mods should be the least of their concern. They needed to make a good game first, which is sad because I was looking forward to a spiritual successor to Dino Crisis. This is not it. Lastly, I want to take a look at one that was surprisingly embraced by the activist crowd, Bayonetta. Here's the interesting part. They only embraced her character, despite being the most sexualized, as getting a free pass because up until the creator confirmed that she was married and had a traditional family, they all just assumed she was a lesbian. Yep, I'm going there. When they thought Bayonetta was into girls, there was no issue with her at all because it was no longer about the male gaze, but because they hinged on the idea that she somehow represented the gay community. Representation mattered more than if the game was good or not. I mean, which it is. But the minute the creator said that she was canonically straight, then it was an issue. Oh no, she can be skimpy, but only if she's a trash-talking lesbian. That was the hill they wanted to die on. Now representation didn't matter anymore, and look, I don't care what anyone's sexual orientation is in real life, it makes no difference to me. If Bayonetta was a lesbian, I'd still love the game, it's fun. For the people that complain about Gooner games though, they don't care about gameplay. They only care if a character somehow reflects their personal life. Here's my question though. Beyond who she's sleeping with, who the fuck is she representing? Other women that can magically turn their hair into a suit of armor or series of weapons? It's the same thing with Hades 2. It came out close to Stellar Blade. This character is actually naked. Full naked. But because the game is gay coded, it's fine. Eve, though, wearing a skin tight suit was somehow a problem. I guarantee if Eve was revealed to be a lesbian, they wouldn't have said shit, and guess what? People still would have bought it. Just like when they thought Bayonetta was also a lesbian. They don't care about gameplay, they only care about messaging. This isn't exclusive to female characters, though. Oh no. Let's take a look at He-Man. That's coming out soon. Or shit, any buff shirtless male hero in Marvel Comics in the 90s, or 80s action movie stars like Arnold, Dolph Lundgren, and Jean-Claude Van Splits. Feminists will see a character like Eve as some kind of existential threat and go on a male gaze tirade with every insult you can think of. Male feminists will look at a movie like the original Predator and say it perpetuates an unrealistic male standard and that it's stupid for a bunch of buff military dudes to be shirtless in the jungle, that it's a relic of a bygone era while praising Disneyfied shit like Predator Badlands. A normal guy will look at Eve and go, okay, she's hot, but I mean, is the game fun? We don't care as long as the game is good. Code Violet, she was hot, but the game was shit. I'm not going to buy a game just because a girl is in a skimpy outfit. We don't care. Then we'll look at He-Man, and instead of complaining about some societal norm nonsense, we'll go, damn, he's ripped. I should probably hit the gym. That's what these low-T fuckheads miss. They make it about them instead of using what's there to inspire them. When I started working out, it was because I looked up to people like Arnold and Stallone. Movies like Predator and Rambo made me want to start lifting and working out. I didn't complain about unrealistic standards. I got my ass in the gym. I also know the difference between fantasy and reality. Something that seems to be missing with a lot of these people here. People that say shit like, it sets an unrealistic standard. Do you honestly think other people watch movies and go, yes, this is exactly how it works in the real world? It's a difference in mindset between normal, healthy, well-balanced people and those that blame everyone else but themselves for their problems. Unrealistic standards are still around too, by the way. Almost every Marvel movie features the now obligatory shirtless scene where a dude shows off his physique. Do I complain? No. Most men don't care. The ones that do don't even put in the effort to get in shape in the first place. I know the women certainly don't complain when Chris Hemsworth takes his shirt off, but a girl in a skin-tight suit and all hell breaks loose. Maybe instead of complaining or making excuses, they can take it as an inspiration to be better. But no, it's apparently rude and toxic to suggest someone get inspired to better themselves. I've had enough with the fucking double standards. Most importantly, when it comes to video games in Hollywood, spoiler alert for those of you that may not realize this, none of it is real. They're fantasy characters. They don't exist. They don't represent anything beyond what you're watching on screen or what buttons you push to kill whatever monster you're fighting. That goes for all entertainment. It's not about you. And no, it's not easy for me to say because games have always catered to me before someone brings up that bullshit argument too. Games have always been for everyone and anyone who wants to play them. Do you know how many games I like that don't even have human main characters or characters that represent me? How does Warframe, Wipeout, Astrobot, Sonic the fucking Crackhead, Oddworld, Twisted Metal, well, I guess the drivers are human, cater to me? I am not any of those things. Look at Shadow Man on PS1, Spawn Armageddon on PS2, The Suffering. Almost the whole cast of Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter have characters that don't look like or represent me, yet I enjoy the hell out of those games. There has always been something for someone, but once the representation argument goes out the window, it moves back to characters like Lara Croft and how unrealistic it is for her to be traversing snowy mountains in booty shorts and a tank top. Here's the thing that apparently needs repeating. It's a goddamn video game. We know it's not real. No one expects a billionaire archaeologist in her 20s to go rampaging through a dense jungle in booty shorts while shooting dinosaurs. Video games are meant to be an escape for some of us, and sometimes that means playing as a sexy archaeologist or a 7-foot-tall space marine. Not everything needs to be grounded in realism. Hell, half the time games grounded in realism really aren't even all that realistic. Just because games take the gritty, real-looking emotional melodrama approach doesn't mean it's any more realistic than fucking Mario Brothers. Look at Last of Us Part 2. Praised for its realism. Yeah, the walking parts and the cutscenes I guess could be realistic. The actual game? Still complete revenge fantasy bullshit. Neither Ellie nor Abby would survive as long as they did in those situations. Want to play something realistic? Go play Microsoft Flight Simulator. Hell, Ellie didn't even really get to get revenge in the end. What a fucking waste. And yes, I understood the point of that goddamn story. It was fucking pointless. Anyway, it doesn't matter if a video game appeals to the male gaze, the female gaze, the gay gaze, the straight gaze, the sympathetic gaze, the synthetic gaze, or the D's nuts gaze. All that matters is if you enjoy it. That's it. And if a game has Gooner material or anything else you're offended by, it's simple. Don't play it. But to base a game's quality because of its context instead of its content is fucking stupid. I'm sorry, it is. I mean, just look at this review from Screen Rant for Black Myth Wukong when it came out. I can understand if the reviewer, who deleted all of her social media accounts since then, docked it for technical issues, performance problems, bad level design, poor gameplay, but no. She docked it for lack of diversity and inclusion. Yes, her score was based on not having enough diversity in a game where you play as a monkey and fight magical lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my, that is fucking stupid. There's no other way around it. These are the people telling others what to engage in. These are the people claiming anything that doesn't appeal to them is either not diverse enough or just gooner bait for lonely incels. But if you look at the people accusing others of being incels and gooners for enjoying sexy women in fantasy-based media, they're almost always single. Huh. Now, I'm not saying stalk harass them, but when it checks out, they're almost always single. I don't know if it's projected self-loathing or some other underlying disorder, but once you kind of notice a trend, their vitriol seems a lot less genuine and more like a desperate plea for attention. I mean, shit. Anita Sarkeesian had a widely publicized 41st anti-wedding birthday party in 2023 celebrating being single and childless. She has no room to fucking talk. And again, I'm not attacking her. I'm just saying she has no room to talk. Ironically, the majority of people that play Gooner games, it turns out, are married men and women or people in relationships. When I was single, I really didn't play games with sexy characters. It was mostly shoot 'em ups and beat 'em ups. After getting married, I actually ended up playing more games with sexy female lead characters. I guess we don't care about what's in a game as long as it's fun. I'm married. My wife's favorite game is The First Descendant. In fact, if you check my videos, she's the one that did most of my First Descendant review. Now, it's not all bad. Thankfully, there's been an industry course correct as of late. Crimson Desert came out to great reception from fans and balances out sexy with stylish while not going overboard. Tides of Annihilation, another one coming out, looks like it'll be a lot of fun. Resident Evil Requiem was awesome while also introducing a great character like Grace, who hasn't been infected with the Western slop standard. She's pretty, but not overtly sexualized. Also, the women have Daddy Leon to goon over. Oh, seriously. Look at some of the Resident Evil fan groups and the amount of Rule 34 that's come out for Leon-esque Daddy Kennedy. There's almost more Leon smut than any other character. Incel Gooners. Yeah, check yourself. What else? Oh, yeah, Dead or Alive 7 got announced, and hopefully they'll go full-on beach volleyball Venus swimsuit with it just to piss off the editors at IGN and Polygon. Give me my M-rated Gooner shit. But really, if you're going to attack Gooner games, don't be a pussy and blast only games in the mainstream. That's some low-hanging fruit. The only reason these journalists and media personalities do it is because it boosts their engagement. Want to be genuine? Go on Steam, play some actual adult-rated porn games, and tell us what kind of Gooner trash it is. Although, I did see a game called Subverse on there that actually looks like it might have decent gameplay. Am I going to buy it? Probably not, because I got a bunch of other shit to play instead. Still, if you're going to complain about Gooner porn games, complain about actual Gooner porn games. Not shit like Stellar Blade, Lollipop Chainsaw, or fucking old school Tomb Raider. If you enjoyed my rant, please drop a comment and hit that like and subscribe. And even if you disagree with me, let's keep it respectful and not resort to the same tactics as the people I'm complaining about, despite my colorful language throughout this video. Otherwise, I will see you on the next one, which I promise won't be as ranty. Maybe. Take it easy. All right, let's see what's on Steam. Nothing. Treasure of Nadia. The hell's Treasure of Nadia? Oh, hello.